What if your existence leaves no trace, swallowed by a void that forgets your name? Imagine pouring your life into moments, dreams, struggles, loves, only to see them dissolve into nothingness, as if you never were. This is not a distant fear, but a silent weight that presses on us all, a shadow that creeps into the quiet corners of our minds. Will anyone remember you? Why do we dread this absence, this erasure from the world's memory? This voice, sharp and poetic, rises from the depths of thought, where truth is both cruel and beautiful. It speaks not to comfort, but to reveal. Our lives are fleeting, our efforts fragile against the relentless tide of oblivion. Yet we resist, driven by a primal urge to be remembered, to defy the silence that awaits. For the young, this fear burns in the race for relevance, a post, a follower, a fleeting spark in the digital storm. Do you feel it when you share your life online, hoping for eyes to witness your existence? For those further along, it's the ache of years spent building, careers, families, legacies, only to face their impermanence. What does it mean when all you've crafted fades like footsteps in the sand? In the halls of ancient thought, where shadows dance with fading light, this fear takes shape. It's not mere vanity, but a deep, human longing to matter, to endure beyond our breath. Yet the voice whispers a harsher truth. All we build, all we are, is but a flicker against the eternal void. Have you ever paused, in the rush of life, to wonder, what will remain of me? The question lingers, heavy and unyielding, in the moments we dare to be still. It's a fear that haunts both the young, scrambling to stand out in a crowded world, and the old, looking back on lives that may leave no echo. This is no ordinary fear, but a force that shapes our every choice. We chase fame, love, creation, as if they could anchor us against oblivion. But what if they cannot? What if our deepest efforts are but gestures in the dark, cries into a void that does not answer? The voice, speaking as if from a Gothic chamber, does not judge, it observes, with a clarity that cuts through illusion. It asks, can you bear the weight of your own absence? Will you dare to look into the void and see what remains when all is forgotten? In our age of endless noise, this fear is sharper than ever. We live in a world where attention is currency, where being seen feels like being alive. Yet the algorithms bury us, the years erase us, and the fear grows. Will my voice be lost in the clamor? Will my life matter when the screen goes dark? The voice does not promise answers, but invites us to question, to linger in the discomfort of truth. It challenges us to trace this fear through our lives, to see how it drives us, how it shapes the world we inhabit. This journey begins here, in the silence of forgotten things, where a voice speaks truths we rarely name. It calls us to explore the fear of being forgotten, to unravel its roots in our hearts, to question what it means to exist in a world that forgets. Will you follow its call? Will you step into the shadows, where the weight of absence reveals itself? Let us move forward together, into the darkness, to uncover the fear that haunts us all, the fear that whispers, you, too, will fade. To live is to lose ground. These words, like a cold wind through a desolate hall, strip away the illusions we cling to. They speak of a truth we cannot escape. Every step we take, every mark we make, is eroded by the relentless march of time. We strive to be remembered, to etch our names into the fabric of existence. Yet the voice whispers that this quest is futile. Why do we crave a legacy that time will erase? What compels us to fight for eternity in a world that forgets? This philosophy, raw and unyielding, sees life as a paradox, a desperate scramble to defy oblivion, knowing we cannot win. We build monuments, chase fame, craft stories, all to outlast our fleeting days. Yet the voice, speaking as if from a Gothic chamber lined with crumbling tomes, reveals the absurdity of this pursuit. All is vanity. It murmurs, a chasing after wind. For the young, this struggle unfolds in the digital realm. Endless posts, likes, and followers, each a fragile bid for relevance in a world that scrolls past. Why do we pour our hearts into moments that vanish with a swipe? What drives us to seek permanence in the flicker of a screen? Consider the influencer, toiling for thousands of eyes, crafting a persona that feels eternal. Each video, each story, is a cry to be seen, to matter. Yet the voice asks, when the platform fades, when the followers move on, what remains? The algorithms shift, the trends die, and the fear of oblivion creeps in. This is not unique to the young. For those further along, the fear manifests in the pursuit of legacy, careers built, families raised, dreams chased in hopes they will endure. The voice, quoting Cioran, whispers, "Man is a creature who dreams of immortality while standing on a grave, on the heights of despair. What have you built that time will not unravel?" We see this futility in the rituals of our lives. The corporate climber, sacrificing years for a title, believes it will cement their name. The artist, pouring their soul into work, hopes it will speak beyond their years. The parent, raising children, trusts they will carry their memory forward. Yet the voice, unsparing, points to the truth. To live is to lose ground. Time grinds all to dust, titles, artworks, even love. Is this despair, or is it clarity? To see life as it is, stripped of false promises, is to stand in the presence of truth. But there is beauty in this futility, the voice suggests, not in victory, but in the act of striving itself. We create, we love, we fight, knowing it may not last. Is this courage or delusion? For Gen Z, it's the defiance of posting into the digital void, hoping to be seen amidst the noise. For others, it's the quiet resolve to build, despite the shadow of oblivion. The voice marvels at our refusal to surrender, yet it also challenges us. Why do we run from the silence of being forgotten? What does this quest reveal about our hearts? In the modern world, this fear is magnified. We live in a culture obsessed with legacy, where every achievement is a bid to outlast time. The influencer's followers, the CEO's empire, the writer's words, all are attempts to defy the void. Yet the voice, echoing Cioran, reminds us, the more we strive to be eternal, the more we feel our mortality, the trouble with being born. The paradox cuts deep. Our quest for permanence only sharpens the fear of absence. Have you felt this in the rush to achieve, to be seen? The voice does not mock. It invites us to ponder, to linger in the discomfort of truth. This philosophy does not offer answers, but questions. It demands we look at our lives, our ambitions, our fears, and ask, why do we strive, knowing all fades? What drives us to chase eternity in a world that buries us? As we move deeper, we must explore how this fear shapes our fleeting world, how it echoes in the lives we lead, in the shadows we cannot outrun. We are all dust, and to dust we return. This stark truth, spoken as if from the shadows of a forgotten hall, cuts through the clamor of our modern world. It speaks to a fear we feel but rarely name, that our lives, for all their striving, will vanish into oblivion. In today's age, this weight presses heavier than ever, echoing in the noise of our digital lives, in the quiet dread that haunts our moments of stillness. How does this fear of being forgotten shape us, in a world that demands we shine, yet buries us in its rush? Consider the digital storm we inhabit. For the young, life is a race for visibility. Posts, stories, videos, each a fleeting bid to be seen, to matter. Every like, every follower, is a fragile shield against the void of irrelevance. Yet the voice whispers, does your online presence hide a fear of fading away? The endless scroll, the chase for clout, mirrors the futile quest Cioran saw, a quest to defy oblivion in a world that forgets faster than ever. The algorithm shifts, burying yesterday's stars beneath new trends. Why do we pour ourselves into moments that vanish with a swipe? What does it mean when our digital cries are drowned in noise? This fear is not new, but its form is. In the past, we carved names into stone, built empires, wrote epics to be remembered. Today, we post, we stream, we trend, hoping our digital footprint will endure. Yet the voice, unyielding, asks, when the servers crash, when the platforms die, what remains of you? For Gen Z, this is a doomer's dread, a fear that their voice will be lost in the chaos of a fractured world. The influencer, the creator, the poster, all strive to stand out, yet the void looms larger in a world where attention is fleeting. For those further along, the fear takes a different shape. It's the quiet realization that a lifetime of effort, careers, relationships, achievements may leave no trace. The voice asks, what will remain of you when the world moves on? The executive who built an empire, the teacher who shaped minds, the parent who gave all. Each hopes their work will echo beyond their years. Yet time, indifferent, sweeps all away. In the silence of night, when distractions fade, this truth emerges. Our lives are but whispers against an eternal void. Have you felt this weight, looking back on years that may leave no mark? In this modern world, we are surrounded by illusions of permanence. Society tells us to stand out, to leave a legacy, to make our mark. Yet the voice challenges this narrative, pointing to the absurdity beneath. Our cities, our profiles, our achievements, are they not attempts to defy the dust we'll become? We chase followers, awards, recognition, all while knowing they will not endure. The voice finds this both tragic and beautiful, a testament to our defiance in the face of futility. It asks, why do we fight so hard to be remembered when time spares no one? This fear shapes not just individuals, but generations. Gen Z, raised in a world of instant fame and instant erasure, feels the pressure to be seen before they vanish. Older generations, watching their world change, fear their values, their stories, will be forgotten. The voice, quoting Cioran, murmurs, the tragedy is not in dying, but in being erased on the heights of despair. This tragedy plays out in the disconnect between young and old, in the race to matter before time runs out. Do you see it in the rush to post, to achieve, to be known? In our digital age, the fear is amplified by algorithms that bury us, by a culture that celebrates the new and discards the old. The voice asks, are you running from the silence of oblivion, filling your life with noise? The paradox is stark. The more we strive to be seen, the more we feel our absence. This philosophy does not demand we stop striving, but that we strive with eyes open. It invites us to confront the dust of our existence, to question the stories we tell ourselves about lasting. As we turn to the final reflection, we must ask, can we find freedom in our fleeting lives, or is the weight of absence the only truth? In the silence of oblivion, there is a strange beauty, a truth that haunts and captivates. The voice that has guided us, sharp and unyielding, lingers here, in the shadows of thought, where the fear of being forgotten is not a curse but a revelation. It tells us that life, with all its striving, is a fleeting dance, a poem written in dust. Yet in this impermanence, there is something profound, something that binds us all, young and old, dreamer and skeptic, in the shared act of existing against the void. This philosophy does not offer comfort, but clarity. It asks us to embrace the ephemeral, to see our fear of absence not as a burden, but as a mirror. Can we find freedom in knowing we will fade? The voice whispers, as if speaking from crumbling pages in a Gothic hall. For the young, caught in the digital whirlwind, this question resonates in their chase for fleeting relevance. Posts, likes, moments that vanish in the scroll. Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the need to be seen? For those further along, it echoes in the quiet moments of reflection, when the weight of time reveals the fragility of all things. What does it mean to live, knowing your name may not endure? In the halls of thought, where shadows play with fading light, this vision takes shape. It's not about despair, but about seeing clearly, about finding a strange nobility in our fleeting acts. We create, we love, we strive, knowing it will not last. Is this madness, or is it courage? The voice suggests it is both, a defiance that makes us human, a beauty born of the absurd. Cioran's words echo. To live is to wrestle with the void, knowing it will win, the trouble with being born. Yet in this wrestling, there is poetry, a stubborn refusal to bow to oblivion. This is the heart of our journey, to face the void and find within it a haunting aesthetic. It's a call to live without illusions, to walk through life with eyes open to our impermanence. For Gen Z, it's a challenge to look beyond the screen, to question the rush for relevance in a world that forgets. For others, it's an invitation to reflect on a life lived, to see its fleeting moments as part of a larger truth. Can you embrace the dust you'll become? Can you find meaning in the act of existing, even if it leaves no trace? The weight of absence speaks, and its voice is ours. It asks us to linger, to listen, to accept the silence without fear. There is no promise of eternity, no lasting mark to claim. But there is beauty in this acceptance, in the courage to exist despite the void. The voice does not promise redemption, but offers a profound clarity. To live is to be fleeting, and in that fleetingness lies our humanity. Will you carry this truth with you? Will you let it shape the way you see your ephemeral life? This is not the end, but a beginning, a call to face the void with open eyes, to find beauty in the shadows of oblivion. The voice, poetic and unyielding, invites us to question, to reflect, to live in the face of absence. What will you do with this truth? How will you walk forward, knowing you may fade? The silence awaits, but so does the courage to exist within it. This is Existential Aesthetics Chronicles, where the shadows of thought reveal truths we cannot escape. Subscribe to journey deeper into the void, to hear more of this voice that speaks of absence and beauty. Hit the bell icon, share this reflection with those who feel the weight of oblivion, and let us face the silence together, where the fear of being forgotten becomes our own.